Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT Vengeance takeover for the 14th of February 2021. I know a lot of people are in love with this show, and if you're into moves related shows, this was really, really good. If you're not into moves related shows or you're into story development, while the show wasn't by any means bad, it certainly left a little to be desired in terms of quality takeovers in the past. So, Women's Dusty Classic kicks us off. We do have a video package to kick us off as well. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez defeated Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. I think this is the right decision. Raquel Gonzalez, of any of the women not in the Four Horsewomen, I think is the best woman that WWE has had in years, and I hope they do something really good with her. Match was fine. There are sloppy moments. I don't think this needs the nearly 20 minutes it got. All the women did work hard. Ultimately, I do think the women here in NXT are much fresher than the women on the main roster. I think they're better in terms of development of longevity. I think the NXT women is a place they shine right now. Other than, Charlotte and Bayley and Becky Lynch when she's around and Sasha Banks, I can't say I get excited for main roster women. Liv Morgan excites me from time to time. Dakota Kai, it still shocks me that during the Women's Royal Rumble they talked about her being around for 7 years. What has she done in 7 years? That seems like a waste of a career to me, and it really makes me sad. Winner of the match does receive a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championship, so it's kind of like a call-up. I'm a fan of that, and anything that gets those belts off Nia Jax makes me happy. In the sense that I'm not a Nia Jax fan, I think she's unsafe, and I think my whole character that they've got with her now is the most over she's ever been. Anyway, Gonzalez goes after Blackheart to start and nails her with a shoulder block. Moon comes in, goes for an octopus. Gonzalez hits a sidewalk slam out of that, and she takes both of her opponents out. Gonzalez, again, has that Chyna vibe, but is more athletic than Chyna was in a lot of ways. Then we see a codebreaker from Moon. Blackheart comes in for the 2 count. Blackheart takes way too many risks in unneeded ways. Pump kick from Kai. Gets a near fall for her. And Kai escapes. Gonzalez gets tag. And then they kind of roll into a crab situation. Double team offense. Moon tags in. There's a knee bar battle. Moon tags back into Blackheart. And Gonzalez has things distracted so the tag wasn't recognized. Moon re-enters the match. Hits a series of forearms. Goes after Kai's left leg. Kai escapes. Gonzalez goes nuts with clothesline. Gonzalez hits a series of follow-away slams on Moon. Again, Gonzalez to me, if I'm building around the women's division, Gonzalez is where I go. At this point, if you're not going to build around the established 4 that I've mentioned before. Kai tags in, hits diving clothesline. Blackheart breaks up the holds. Blackheart goes for a diving Rana on Gonzalez. She blocks it and power bombs her. And then she's sent into the barricade. Moon tries to go nuts, but she basically overwhelms the whole thing, and Kai gets a face wash, boot in the corner, and comes at her pretty hard. Gonzalez tags in and hits a clothesline, and ultimately Moon ends up hitting things all in a row here. Moon sets up and hits a combination DDT, a leg lariat, which was fine. Kai distracts the official, and Moon hits the ellipse on Gonzalez. Gets a pinfall, at least visually. Gonzalez tries to attack, but Blackheart re enters and hits top rope dropkick for a near fall. Blackheart runs wild on Kai and hits a face buster. Gonzalez tags in. Blackheart goes and hits the sliced bread. Gonzalez stops her. Blackheart tries for a sliced bread again. Kai breaks up the pinfall. Moon uses the ropes. Blackheart lands a dive onto Kai. Neckbreaker diving, lung blower, and a springboard. Code red for Moon. Near fall. And Kai gets in the electric chair on the floor. Moon lands a Doomsday Crossbody over Kai. Again, so many big moves that they don't really have time to set. I'm not a fan of that style. Gonzalez sends her into the ring steps. Locks the crossface on, or Moon locks the crossface on. Kai breaks up the submission. Kai and Blackheart tag in. Kai hits the Kayacopter for a near fall. Moon is sent crashing into the ramp, and then the barricade by Gonzalez. Blackheart surprises her on her way back to the ring with a kick, and Gonzalez pops up and sends her to the mat with a choke slam for the pinfall. Decent little ending there. Again, Gonzalez is money and should be treated as such. Gargano and The Way make their entrances. Dexter Lumis chloroforms Austin Theory. What a waste of Austin Theory. Apparently he's kidnapped now. And Johnny Gargano has no backup for the match. Speaking of the match, that's what's up next. NXT North American Championship. Gargano defeats Kushida. Match is decent. And they do better than the average Kushida match. Probably is his best match to date in the NXT brand. Kushida goes for the hoverboard lock almost immediately. Gargano's too close to the ropes. Performs extended chain wrestling with Kushida, and he's kind of out grappling his opponent. Pace quickens, athletic sequence, and there's a bunch of major strikes. Gargano locks on the Gargano escape, but Kushida transitions into one of his own, which is fine. Gargano reaches the ropes for the break, and then both men go to the floor. Gargano sends him into the steps. The steps are being overused already, and we're only in the second match. Suplex on the floor. Cross arm breaker, referee count, and Kushida breaks the count. Hits a hammerlock suplex on the floor. Ouch. Gargano recovers, and basically Kushida stays on the arm for the majority of the rest of the match. Actually, Gargano buys himself some time, hits a neck breaker using the ropes, and goes after Kushida's head and neck, which is fine. Gargano hits a suplex and floats over into a cover. Kushida kicks out immediately. They fight over a backslide attempt, really suplexed by Gargano, and a kick to Kushida's arm. Gargano keeps the attack on the submission. Kushida turns it into an octopus stretch, but Gargano escapes into a cradle. They exchange cradles. Kushida locks in the La Magistral for a near fall. Both men hit clotheslines for a double down. I hate double downs at this point in the match just because they're predictable, not because they can't work. Trade strikes, center ring. Kushida hits a hip toss into a dropkick combo. Kushida then lands a curb stomp on a defenseless Gargano. Goes for a second hammerlock suplex. Talk about killing poor Kushida's finish. Gargano hits Enziguri and avoids one from Kushina. And then locks it on and all of that. German suplex by Gargano, and then a buzzsaw kick series from Kushida. Gargano goes to the floor. Gargano hits a slingshot suplex. Kushida catches him with a DDT, maintains the hold. Northern Light suplex for his trouble. Kushida cuts off a slingshot attempt. Gargano is down, and his left arm gets sent into the turnbuckle. Hamstring kick. Gargano on the top rope. Kushida hits a hoverboard lock. Gargano counters and hits a second rope twisting suplex. And a step-up swinging DDT from the near fall. Gargano goes into the chicken wing. Kushida hits a La Magistral, and they fight for position again. Gargano rolls through, gets 2 count, and clotheslines on each other for a double down. Kushida lands kicks. Gargano catches a handspring and hits the no escape. Kushida has to fight to attack Gargano's left arm again, and Gargano goes for a Japanese clutch style move. Kushida rolls over into a European style of same. Gargano hits a super kick. Kushida hits a punch, and Gargano hits Kushida face first into the turnbuckle with a lawn dart and hits a bunch of elbows. Corner suplex and superplex allows Kushida to lock in the cross arm breaker. Gargano tries to block the move. Kushida breaks the grip and reapplies it. After a fight, Gargano is barely able to get into the ropes. He does. Kushida applies the hoverboard lock for the third or fourth time in the match. Gargano drives him to the barricade, gets an escape, and then there's some soccer kicks. Flying hoverboard lock in the ring. Gargano positioned Kushida between the ropes and sent Kushida into the neck first. Follows up with one final beat on the rampway, and a second one in the ring is enough for Gargano to get the win. I'm not opposed to Gargano continuing the storyline. However, I don't know where you go from here where it's really meaningful. Zach Gibson cuts a promo during the entrance telling MSK to wipe the smiles off their faces because they won't enjoy a moment of the match. Basically, the match starts slow but picks up really quickly. Nash Carter and Wes Lee, otherwise known as the Rascals in Impact, against the Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson, James Drake. I don't know that most people know names on most of these talents, which is sad, but I don't know that they've been promoted properly on NXT. All 4 of them kind of seem lacking here. A lot of people like this. I wasn't a fan. It's way too fast moving, and it looks like a video game. If you like video game wrestling, this show is certainly for you. But if you like wrestling that tells a very basic story, probably not. Both teams certainly gave the best performances they know how. Winner of the match receives an NXT title shot not too distant future. Gibson uses his power, goes after the left arm of Carter. Carter gets isolated and gets tied up in several holds. Carter escapes with a tornillo and allows him to reach Lee for the tag. MSK trade strikes, and Lee hits a tiger drop. Carter hits a step-up dive. Why are we doing this much this quickly? Carter hits Drake, allowing Gibson to surprise him with a clothesline. At least we break it down into simpler moves. Vets isolate Carter again. Several minutes of heat. Drake and Gibson go for grinding hold and quick covers. And there's a bunch of cutoffs. I mean, the basic story is the heels are acting like heels. I will admit, um, Gibson and Drake, who because I didn't really follow NXT UK, kind of snuck up on me. They're decent, and they're much better than I gave them credit for, in all honesty. Carter counters a suplex into one of his own. Gibson interferes, allowing or disallowing a tag. Vets hit a dropkick for near fall. Drake grounds Carter and drags in Gibson. Carter avoids double team, tags in Lee. Lee goes wild. Vets hit running kicks before hitting a snapmare into a dropkick on Gibson. Vets regroup. Lee lands an awesome cover. Uh, Dive to the outside on both guys. Again, overkill. Back in the ring, Lee connects with a back handspring for a near fall. Drake pushes Lee off the top rope. Gibson tries to take advantage with a powerbomb, doesn't get it. Lee escapes into an X Factor. Carter tags in, lands drop kicks on both men before taking down Gibson and laying on the ground. They do some ground and pound, springboard cutter, follow up here. Gibson fires up, fights off both members of the babyface team. He tries to follow up again. Gibson kicks him in the air. Gibson hits a Helter Skelter. Drake hits a 450 splash for a close near fall on their side. Vets go for Doomsday Device. Didn't we already see one of those in the women's match? Lee rolls through into a cradle. Gibson kicks out and beats him down. Carter breaks it up and hits Ticket to Mayhem. MSK hits the assisted standing moonsault and a reversed Rana. Carter tags in, lands a senton Atomico. Lee hits a corkscrew senton for near fall. MSK tries the heart attack, doesn't get it. Gibson and Lee set up the electric chair, and Drake comes through the ropes with a dive suicide. Doomsday Device, again, overkill. Vets try to isolate Carter again. Carter takes on both. Vets powerbomb backstabber for near fall. Gibson is angry and slaps his opponent really hard. Lee runs into MSK and downs everybody with it. And then Lee tags in, hits a springboard's Doomsday flipping neckbreaker for the pinfall. Good celebration for the baby faces, and maybe the new blood flippy floppy floopy. We don't want to be like AEW, but we criticize them for doing the same thing will come about, but meh, not a fan. Video package of the newly rich Cameron Grimes, and I will be right back in Two Shakes of a Lamb's Tail here. Hopefully you can hang with me. At the end of the day, a lot of what NXT has become is everything they said they didn't want to become. And that is hypocritical. And I think, while the talents are individuals I respect, some of whom I consider personal friends because of interactions I've had with them, the mixed messages do hinder the enjoyment of the product unless you truly enjoy the flip-flop and fly approach to professional wrestling, which a lot of people do, but it's only the 1 to 2 million fans that are left. Part of the reason I think that the wrestling world has died a death over the past, let's say, 10 years is, number one, bad storylines and inconsistencies, but number two, that style of wrestling doesn't draw beyond 2 million people, 2.5 million people at maximum. I think there's a need to return to a more basic style if wrestling is going to be taken seriously again at the level it once was. And I know that's counterintuitive to what people want to believe, but it is what it is. Anyway, Cameron Grimes comes in. He does a rap song. I love the new Cameron Grimes character with him being rich, and I think there's a million ways you can go with it. This will be fun. Io Shirai defeats Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. I love Mercedes. Mercedes is someone I've been on events with going back, almost 15 years at least ago now. really talented lady. I hate to see that they've wasted her. Not that she has wasted her career, but I think they're underutilizing her. Um, but you know, good work by all three women. They're disjointed. They were given 20 minutes. They cut it at 13 or 14. Martinez goes after Shirai early. Match starts nearly. They don't even get through the introductions. 2-on-1 brawling early on. Shirai controls. Storm counters. Shirai gets involved, and then there's a draping neck breaker on the floor. Ouch. By Martinez. Shirai goes for an Asai moonsault. Martinez avoids it, and Shirai comes crashing into the barricade. Martinez and Storm have an exchange in the ring. Martinez goes for the three amigas. Storm fights out on the third, and Shirai lands a missile drop kick. Shirai charges in with double knees. Martinez comes up. Storm caught this with the follow up with a black hole slam. Martinez surprises Storm with a spinebuster for a near fall. Shirai breaks it up. Martinez goes for a submission, locks in a crossface. Martinez applies a dragon sleeper on Shirai. There's a break. Martinez breaks a hold with an inverted suplex. Shirai sends Martinez into the ropes and hits the Tiger fake kick. I hate seeing anybody but Ray do that, but that's just a matter of personal preference. Storm and Shirai fights. They fight on the top rope. Martinez pushes Shirai to the floor. German suplex, and then Martinez is stuck in the Tree of Woe. Shirai comes off the top with a double stomp. Martinez and Shirai fight to the floor and sends her to the barricade. Anyhow, Death Valley Driver. Storm flattens Martinez with a clothesline, and they try to clear the announce table. The table collapses underneath them because it was used in previous match. She goes for the Storm Zero anyway. Martinez counters into the DDT. Shirai is climbing up onto staging. This is just goofy. These are not stunt people. Comes off with a diving crossbody onto both opponents, and Storm goes back into the ring with Martinez. Martinez lays in some knees and on Storm. Follows with a Fisherman Buster for near fall. Storm fights out with Fireman's Carry and hits a headbutt before hitting Storm Zero for a close near fall. Shirai is coming back into the match. Storm comes off the top rope with a flying headbutt. Shirai breaks it up with a moonsault, pins Martinez to retain. I know they see more in Toni Storm than in Mercedes Martinez. I see it exactly the opposite way, so it's hard for me to be impartial when I think they're wasting someone like Martinez, who could have like the tough girl, biker, Latin thing. Instead, you've got, an English talent that may or may not connect with the majority of the audience. Video showing LA Knight, the former Eli Drake, signing with NXT. He did a promo on the pre-show, which I didn't watch the pre-show, but I mean, it's good that he's here. He's a really talented guy, and he should raise everyone he's in the ring with to the next level. And then we go to the main event. Finn Balor defeats Pete Dunne. Good match, and match has a lot of brutality in it. Chain wrestle to start, and they continue on it. Balor's injuries to his jaw and his issues with his shoulder and all the things over the last several years do come into play here. Dunn's hands are pretty well locked up. Neither man establishes a clear advantage for the first several minutes. There's a running cross body taking Dunn out, who kicks out of a cover and locks on a head scissors. Dunn lays in some hard shoulder strikes, and this is all done during a lockup. goes for the joints of Balor. This is a whole different level of wrestling. And they're wasting a guy like Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is their Zack Sabre Jr., and I think they're wasting him completely. Anyway, Balor fights out. Dunne turns it into a triangle, and Balor fights out again. Dunne goes for an armbar. Balor keeps his grip. Dunne locks on a submission, but falls into an arm breaker. This is probably one of the better pure wrestling matches in NXT or in WWE brand, at least in a year, if not longer. Balor escapes, but Dunne keeps up the attack, targeting the fingers. I love when they zero in on a non-typical injury. Balor turns it around into a deathlock and does the modified figure four. Standing position, Balor sets Dunne to the mat, applies a crab. Dunne brings Balor back to the ground and targets the head. Balor keeps the grip on Dunne's leg. Dunne goes for a modified suplex and hits it for a near fall. Trade strikes, and Balor catches Dunne's leg, stomps it using the ropes for extra added leverage, and Dunne cradles Balor for a near fall, hits an enziguri. Champion comes right back with a lariat of his own and a near fall of his own. Balor lands strikes, refocuses his attack on Dunne's legs with a toe hold. Balor hits a forearm to the back of Dunne's head, applies the STF. Dunne fights out, and Balor stomps his fingers. Balor hits a series of chops, uses the ropes illegally, doesn't care. Recovers well, selling the knee. Dunne comes up, keeps the attack on forearms, and actually gets a powerbomb for near fall. Dunne hits an arm stomp and snap German suplex, and goes back to the hands of Balor. Balor sweeps out Dunne's leg, hits a backstabber and a shotgun drop kick, sends Dunne into the corner. Dunne counters the coup de grace into a triangle, and Balor reaches the bottom rope, breaks the hold, takes several minutes to get there, tells a good story with it. Balor sells like he's unconscious. Dunne tries to follow up the attack. Referee checks on Balor. Balor says he could continue, although he totally looked like he couldn't. Gets nailed with a jumping stomp for his trouble, and locks on an abdominal stretch. Brings Dunne down to the mat. Dunne escapes with his signature finger break deal. Dunne wouldn't let go of the hand and continues the stomps. Still won't let go. Hits the bitter end for near fall. Dunne works the hands again and then hits powerbomb. Balor turned into the DDT. Dunne hits the enziguri. Balor hits a dropkick, and Dunne hits a buzzsaw kick. And then there's a counter sequence. Balor wins, hitting a lifting suplex. Dunne won't let go of it. Balor's fingers and snap them again. Balor no-sold and stomped Dunne's back. Balor ripped out Dunne's mouth guard and nails him with a dropkick in the mouth, pulling the coup de grace 1916 DDT, and retains the championship. Post-match, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch lay Balor out, and referee tries to break it up. Undisputed Era's music hits. They come out, and Cole, Strong, and O'Reilly chase them off. O'Reilly helps up Balor, calls him a real champion, and then the show's about to go off the air. Cole flattens Balor with a super kick. O'Reilly confronts him for it and takes another super kick for his trouble. Cole goes back up the ramp. Balor and O'Reilly laid out in the ring. Strong acts confused as we close the show. This is a good turn. It opens up new match possibilities. It opens up fresh options For stories, I'm still not sure entirely that this is all good, but it's better than what they've been doing. And I recapped a show that goes about 2.5 hours in half an hour for you. Overall, I mean, if you like this style, it's definitely worth going out of your way to see. And for fans that like this style of wrestling, I'm completely in favor of saying this was a very good, if not borderline excellent show. If this is not your style, if you like old school wrestling, even from the Nitro era with more storyline driven stuff, I don't think you'll like this as much, and I think you'll see it as overkill. We will be back with more action right after this.